Okay, y'all, I am really excited to chat with y'all tonight. So it's been on my heart for 2 or 3 weeks, and I think it's something that at some point in our business we all have to hear and be reminded of. And we all know how big mindset is, but this is a huge mindset trap that we're going to chat about today. So one second, and I will share my screen with you guys. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Has anybody ever said, must be nice? Like you're scrolling on social media and you see somebody shouting out all these rank ups on their team, or they added 37 new VIPs themselves, or whatever. And you're like, wow, must be nice. Has anybody else ever thought that? Yeah. I mean, I have, and honestly, I felt like it was coming from a place of, wow, I just like, I can't wait to be there. But it is such a mindset trap. So we're going to kind of talk about this mindset of it must be nice and how to break free from comparison in your business. Okay. All right. So first of all, I'm gonna have to minimize you guys so I can see my deal. Okay. So first of all, what is this mindset really? So it really what it boils down to is it's when we see someone else's highlight reel and we just assume one of three things or all three things. They've got it easier, they must be lucky, or they're just special. And like I can say I have been guilty of this before. And I think it's just because, when we're looking at somebody else's life, it seems like um it just happened faster for them, or they didn't have to work as hard, right? Um, but in all reality, what you're seeing is that their success is actually leaving us clues. When we think these people are having overnight wins, what we're not seeing is the years of small, consistent actions, the years of people starting and quitting, the years of having people turn off their subs and having to help new people. All of these things are things that we deal with, but when we look at someone else's business and we think they just had it easier, they got lucky, they're just special, it's kind of like we erase all of those things. Like they must have been exempt from all of the hard stuff, right? Um, so when you're saying it must be nice, you're actually dismissing their hard work that got them there. But really, you're also excusing yourself from having the hard. And that's where the trap can really come in and destroy your business. And it's completely unintentional, right? We are by nature, we're competitive people, and we look to those around us to just naturally compare. I mean, it's how we're wired. I wish we weren't. But because we are, that means that we have to work extra hard to avoid that mindset trap. Okay, so there are some dangers of this comparison around it must be nice. So first of all, when you start having this comparison in your business, it kills your momentum. When you start looking at someone else's race, you're gonna quit running your own. And I don't know how many of you here are runners. Show a hand if you have ever run before. I know that whenever I was running, and my coach would tell me if somebody's passing you, don't look at them. Or if you hear somebody coming up behind you, don't look at them. Why is that? It's because if you turn to look, you're going to mess up your own race. You're going to get out of your lane. You're going to trip. You're going to slow down, right? Because you're not focused on your race. You're focusing on somebody else's race and all the anxiety that comes with, oh my gosh, what if they pass me? What if I don't win? What if I trip? What if all these what ifs, right? And that kills your momentum in your business. When you're looking at somebody else's success and somebody else's growth instead of your own, you are getting so off base. Okay. This will also block your growth. You'll never get past where you are if you stay distracted from the assignment that God gave you, right? He gave us our own race to run. He didn't tell us to run Jordan's race. He didn't tell us to run Brittany's race, right? Now we can admire the grace that they run their races with, but that's not the race he gave us, right? And the hurdles and the challenges that we have to face are our own, right? So be careful when you catch yourself getting into this mindset that you quickly try to adjust it so that you are not blocking your own growth. Okay. This mindset will also blind you to opportunity. Instead of asking, how did they do it? We tend to turn it on ourselves with the victim mentality and say, why not me? And what that's going to do is completely block you from growth and opportunity, right? It's gonna keep you from seeing the things that the Lord could be bringing across your path to help you grow, right? Um, Instead of maybe looking for solutions to your own problems, right? You have the opportunity to grow and you have the opportunity to change, but instead you've got your blinders on and you're looking somewhere else. It's also going to kill your creativity. It's going to keep you from problem solving in your own business. Creativity is something that I feel like sometimes I struggle with in my own business, just because I see all these other people doing these amazing things. They have these amazing trainings. They're doing these really cool challenges and things that like I can't even wrap my mind around yet. But whenever I focus on the amazing creative things that other people are doing and I go, wow, I'm just not creative, it actually blocks me from being able to think creatively because I am constantly looking at other people. It's going to keep me from looking at my own business objectively. Where are my gaps? What are some areas that I need to grow in? If I'm focused on someone else, I'm going to miss all of those things in my own business. Okay, this comparison also breeds excuses. It gives you permission to quit before you even start. When you're looking at somebody else and going, well, they just got lucky. They've got the silver spoon. I'm not as special as they are. They just have the it factor. I just don't have that. I'll never be successful. It gives you permission to quit. It gives you permission to not give 1,000%. And that's not what we're called to. Y'all, we're called to excellence. God gave us this really special opportunity to minister to other people. And if we're constantly quitting because we don't think we're good enough, we're actually robbing the Lord of the opportunity to grow those gifts in us. We're not exercising our faith because we're too busy looking at somebody else's race. And on that note, comparison's also going to steal your joy. Um, y'all, gratitude and envy cannot live in the same heart. That is like they just don't work symbiotically. Okay. And when you're envious and you have that victim mentality, you are not going to have any joy around your business. And this is something that we're all guilty of. And I'm sure you can think back to times in your business when you did feel unsuccessful and you didn't have any joy. But then I also want you to consider how many of those times were you looking at other people's race? How many times were you comparing and going, I'm not where I should be. I'm not where so and so is. And you let that rob you of the joy of doing something that God called you to. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. So now we're going to try to start shifting your comparison to inspiration. We just have to reframe some of these thoughts, okay? To shift your mindset so that you can start getting into success, okay? So here's one of the things I want you to think about. When you see somebody that is just soaring, maybe they started after you did. Maybe they've been in it for years. Either way, if she can do it, I can do it, right? Um, and that's something that has really helped me along the way. I don't, I'm like, well, I mean, Lord, if you taught that person how to do it, I know you want me to be successful, and I believe that you're going to teach me how to do it too. But if we stay stuck in the mindset trap, remember you're going to block yourself from being able to learn that. Okay. Somebody else is being super successful. That's just proof that it can be done, right? It's not an insurmountable feat. It is not a mountain that can't be climbed. You can do it because she did. What about this one? Wow, she's doing really well. What can I learn from her? Have you ever thought about that? Man, and that sometimes stings a little bit because it's like stuffing that envy and stuffing that jealousy sometimes um doesn't feel very good. And then having to humble yourself to ask, hey, how are you doing that? What can I learn from you? Sometimes it's a really humbling experience, but those are the times that you're going to grow the most in your business. Use her success as fuel, not friction, especially if it's within your own team. Okay, so here are just a few tools for overcoming this mindset trap. Okay, the first one is gratitude practice. Start every day listing at least three things that you're grateful for in your life and your business. And this is goes back to the fact that gratitude and envy can't live in the same heart. If you are getting up first thing in the morning and you're talking to God about all the things that you're grateful for, then there's not room for that envy. There's not room for that discontent. You're allowing yourself to open up your heart to growth. Also, have a personal scoreboard. This is why tracking your own IPA is so important. Yes, it does help you stay on top of your business, who you're reaching out to, who you're talking to, who you need to follow up with. But it's also a way for you to go back and track your own success and your own wins. Don't be keeping tally of other people's unless you want to do it to celebrate them. Okay. So celebrate other people. When you start feeling a little bit jealous about somebody else's success, I want you to stop the thought, go, what can I learn from them? And then send them a message congratulating them. I don't know how it works, but it will completely rewire your mindset. When you can go to gratitude and celebration, you're going to have such a different perspective and it's going to unlock some success in your own life. Because y'all, that's ground that the Lord can sow into. Okay. Also, last thing, a mirror check. Sometimes we have to do these and they're really uncomfortable because we don't necessarily always like the things that we see in ourselves. But I want you to ask yourself, am I watching her results more than I'm working on my own plan? Sometimes you have to put your blinders on, quit looking from side to side. Like you ever seen the horses when they'll put the little blinders on them and it's so that they're not competing with the horses next to them. It's so that they are going straight ahead like they're commanded to, and they're not getting off track because they're paying attention to the horses around them, right? And so that's how we have to be. We have to put on our blinders, quit looking side to side, and work on our own plan. Okay, so I know this was short and sweet, but just want to remind you that the Bible is such a great tool to remind us of the things that we need in our daily walk. And just Hebrews 12:1, let us run with perseverance the race that's out for us. Guys, he didn't give you someone else's race. He gave you yours. Don't let comparison distract you from his assignment and go run your race with perseverance. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And now that I've done a bunch of talking about running, I think I need a snack. I'm just teasing. But really, y'all, I think it's the biblical wisdom is so important here. So, what kind of questions do you guys have? Anything? Comments? Could you relate to this at all?
Yes.
Yes. You stepped on my toes a lot.
Mine got stepped on
Um,
too. I was stepping on my own toes.
no, I mean it was good. What did you just say? It was Hebrews what?
Hebrews 12,
12
one.
what?
Yeah.
12 what? Thanks.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about like this type of not looking to the side when things are going on is when things are going really well for you is when, and for me, especially like going emerald, like are the momentum we're in right now. Like I'm not looking to what other people are doing, like for encouragement, yes, but definitely not comparing my business to anyone else's, right? And so it's just, we just always have to be mindful. thinking about what you're thinking about, right? Like what your thoughts are doing, when especially in the valleys, in the hard times in your business, right? Because that's when we want to look to other people and say they're doing really well and I'm not. But when things are going good, we don't tend to do that. And so keeping your thoughts, think what you think about. Successful people think what they think about. We talked about that a lot at the retreat too. But by the way, those are on my YouTube. Sorry, I have not sent them out, but our retreat videos are on my YouTube. So I can send them if you can't access my YouTube. But yay. Thank you, Amy, so much.
No problem. I will
Thank
stop
you so
recording.
much.